Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for March 18th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 77. This is a time machine episode, so I'm going to be going through this in about 30 minutes or so. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the Sentient AI, which isn't available right now, we talk about 10 articles. Today we're going to be talking about Charged in 5 Minutes, Taco Bell AI, free Airtags for Denver drivers, AstroNOTs, Starlink Competitor that won't trash space, high winds disrupt landing twice, Frontier goes where Southwest has gone before, Cellebrite puts AI into forensic tool. Sure. The riddle of a theft and 100 million paid stream subscribers. Again, I am Mayor Watt. Go over to twitch.tv/ohmtown or youtube.com/ohmtown. And you can engage in some chit chat about the 10 articles that we talked about and the 2,000 episodes that we have done here in ohmtown since January 1st of 2022. That's when we kicked this whole project off. So I hope that you become a citizen. Go over to ohmtown.com, sign up, sign in, engage in some discussion there, post comments, download the podcast, visit the Patreon, go over to the Discord. We have shorts on YouTube. There's TikTok, but who knows how long that's going to be around. Anyway, see you on the other side of our intro. All right, folks, let's get into this. The very first article is Tesla competitor reveals electric car that can charge in 5 minutes. It is a Chinese company named BYD. It's starting to eat its lunch, supposedly, as slumping EV giant Tesla's sales slow to a crawl, much like it. Well, any EV, really. I had heard about this. I've since seen other articles about this, but yesterday at Shenzhen, this is on the 16th, 17th, the Shenzhen-based corporation revealed a lineup of cars it claims can soak up nearly 250 miles worth of battery charge in just 5 minutes. That is at parity with filling up a typical car, just a hair longer than it takes to pump a traditional car full of gasoline. The article says the buzzy new tech will be available next month in BYD's flashy new Han L sedan. Who knows how long or how much this is going to cost. But I want every car to it has to go through safety evaluation, offset impact, side impact, airbag performance, crumple zone performance. This needs to protect citizens and not with losses leading to citizens not being killed in car accidents, but dummies being tested, not human dummies, right? We should not suffer from poor engineering, bad metal, whatever. I want safety and security in a vehicle. If I'm going to plop down $50,000, which is apparently now the average car, you're out of your freaking mind. Anyway, the futurism.com website put this together. Joe Wilkins wrote the article. Incredible things are happening in China, apparently. I would like to see it firsthand. That announcement, the 250 miles in 5 minutes, sent shockwaves through the EV space and beyond, and it's not hard to see why. If the claim holds up, BYD's system will be twice as fast as Li Auto's Mega MPV, which can charge at 310 miles in 12 minutes, and more than 3 times more efficient than Tesla's record of a 170-mile charge in 18 minutes. I don't want to have to pull over every 170, literally, let's just say 3 hours, I'll round up. 3 hours of average driving, 60 miles an hour. You have to pull over for 18 minutes, and you have to use a special charger, and everything has to be in peak performance. And even then, the battery loses 1 to 2% every year. Since announcing the Han L, BYD's market value has skyrocketed in just one day. BYD's valuation surpassed Ford, General Motors, and Volkswagen combined, but it's selling in a place that has a population that is multitudes of the entire United States, so I'm not surprised. There's more competition between Ford, General Motors, and Volkswagen, where BYD isn't even in the channel here in the United States. Despite tariffs and trade war escalations, China's global slice of the EV pie is steadily growing. Not everybody has tariffs and trade war escalations, so they can sell in other places. In August of 2024, BID's global exports more than doubled Tesla's, a lead that's only grown in recent months as protests and Musk fatigue. There's a link to that. Tesla's new sales, Germany, Elon Musk is the link. It's word salad that basically people are tired of Musk. Anyway, holding a lot of people. There's always fan people, but whatever. Anyway, as it faces fierce resistance from Western policymakers when it comes to charging infrastructure, BID's star is currently rising throughout Latin and South America, as well as other corners of the globe like Europe and the Middle East. While Tesla currently boasts some 65,000 proprietary superchargers worldwide, BID's drivers can access 800,000 universal charging points throughout Europe alone. Yeah. Let's move on before I jump on a soapbox. Anyway, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. NVIDIA's partnership with Taco Bell means that AI could soon do more than take your drive-through order. Taco Bell, the winner of the fast food wars in Demolition Man, which is a documentary of the future. If you just pay attention, it certainly is. Get used to 3 shells. Anyway, Taco Bell is using AI for drive-through orders through a partnership with NVIDIA.voice AI. Adoption is growing in fast food with mixed results from McDonald's and Wendy's. Yum Brands plans to roll out voice ordering to 500 restaurants starting next quarter. For those of you who might have stumbled across a Bojangles that uses AI, they actually use an AI. And this morning is the first time that it actually screwed up my order. So, and I didn't know it until I delivered it to the people that were asking for food when I was coming in. So, yeah, kind of a bummer. And so soon it might be able to see how many cars are waiting in the drive-thru and suggest time or items to shorten the wait time. But I'm not worried about your shortened wait time. I want what I want. I'm paying for it. You make me happy. So the article is over at Business Insider. It's written by Alex Bitter and Emma Cosgrove. And so that's basically the nuts and bolts of this. You can always check out the article yourself. It'll be the description will be in the show notes, and all of these articles will be enumerated with my titles added, my interpretation of what the little snippet is. So while NVIDIA has become a top tech player by designing the graphics processing units that power most AI, it has also become important building software that allows less technical companies to harness it. NVIDIA and Taco Bell have already been testing voice AI for ordering at drive-thrus at some locations, and the companies say they're looking into whether AI will be useful elsewhere at Yum restaurants. Okay, well, if everybody's job is getting taken by AI and robots, how are people going to pay for said fast food? Let's keep going. The next article is over in Smack Talk. Denver drivers get free Airtags to cut auto thefts, which is just sad. Airtag has proven itself to be extremely useful when it comes to fighting crime. It's regularly become a key for police recovering stolen cars and making arrests due to being given the location of the tracker. As part of the Denver Track program, the Denver Police Department hopes to take advantage of some of the same benefits by including an Airtag or a Samsung Smart Tag in their vehicle. As part of the initiative's launch, Denver Police will be providing a total of 450 free trackers to Denver drivers. Malcolm Owen over at appleinsider.com put the article together. And it says here, when the registration pre-authorizes the Denver Police Department to work with GPS information provided when a vehicle is reported as stolen, it doesn't grant automatic access to the vehicle's location. Officers are not able to see the location of the AirTag unless it is shared by the owner. The distribution of AirTags to drivers is theoretically a good way to try and reduce car crime, but it still requires some care to avoid a bad result. In January 2022, Denver police were chasing after a truck stolen from a hotel, which contained firearms, drones, and an iPhone 11. However, an attempt to use Find My to track the iPhone resulted in a SWAT raid on the wrong house, one owned by a 77-year-old grandmother. The court was ordered to pay $3.75 million to said grandmother. I don't know what the result was of that, but it was the wrong house. They say Find My misfire leads to SWAT raid on grandmother. It's a lot of money to lose to a grandmother. All right. Well, to anybody, it shouldn't have happened. But hey. No, I can't. Sorry, my smart speaker woke up for whatever reason. All right. The next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Boeing stranded astronauts are finally flying home after 9 months in space. So they have birthed their return. 2 Boeing astronauts flew to the International Space Station on June 5th, 2024 for an 8-day mission. A 3-hour tour. Oh, it's Gilligan's Island in space. The pair is now flying back. This is a time machine episode, so they were in the process of flying back between yesterday and today. And so they have returned. Owen Bellwood, by the time this article would have landed, or not this article, but by the time this episode would have landed, they would have as well. So Wilmore and Williams have been stranded on the space station since issues arose on the Boeing Starliner craft that flew them into orbit. The issues were immediate. They were before, and they should never have been launched. But anyway, the pair was meant to spend about a week on board the ISS, but it turned into 9 months. And that's really all there is. It says 9 months in orbit. And this gadget looked like it was a sieve to begin with, and it actually, it was. It landed without anybody in it because it couldn't be trusted. The extension to their orbit came after problems arose from the Boeing Starliner craft that flew them to the ISS. During the flight, which was the first crewed mission for Starliner, its propulsion systems ran into issues and 6 of its 28 thrusters stopped working. NASA and Boeing engineers spent almost a month deciding on the best course of action, and basically they were stuck. So delay after reissue, blah, blah, blah. They finally made it home. Congratulations. So the next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Google's Starlink competitor won't trash space with thousands of satellites. Alphabet, Google's parent company, announced on Monday that it was spinning off wireless communications project Tara, or Tara, Taara, into an independent company. Why not? Ryan Eric King over at jalopnik.com put the article together. So Alphabet, basically they want, and Google was initially built as a project to catalog basically everything. So A to Z, just like Amazon, A to Z. Alphabet, Google parent company, announced on Monday that it was spinning off its wireless communication project, Tara, Taara. Satellite communications constellations today could be compared to highways or nuclear weapons of the 1950s. Every major player on the international stage, including Apple, can't envision a future without it, despite the massive investment for development and the potential to destroy large swaths of the planet. Tara's approach would remove the need to constantly replenish a decaying satellite fleet like Starlink. Tara came to fruition in Google X's Moonshot factory, the same incubator that birthed Waymo. The project aimed to affordably fill the connectivity gaps in the planet's high-speed internet network. Tara's efforts center around silicon photonic chips, technology that can send and receive data through the air. The system, called Lightbridge, shoots very narrow, invisible beams of light between terminals to transmit data at speeds up to 20 gigabits per second over 12 miles. Tara could be everything, but the high ground apparently. So Tara's Lightbridge is envisioned as a much cheaper alternative to laying fiber optic cables. If it's cheaper than laying a cable, it must be pennies compared to the reusable rocket launch. According to The Verge, the project trialed the system in 2 densely populated places. They say trailed here, but anyway, where traditional networks would be cost prohibitive. Kinshasa, the Congolese capital, and Coachella Festival. So the issues with Starlink, Tara's target competitor, are becoming evident as its satellite constellations scale up. The fleet is around 6,000 satellites. The debris that this thing can kick off is immense, and it's going to lead to a point where you can't go into or out of space because there's so much crap up there. At full scale, there could be as many as 8,000 Starlink sats burning up in the atmosphere every year, which could spew over 1,000 tons of aluminum oxide into the atmosphere, which actually is a problem because it's going to deplete the ozone layer. It's going to create an issue. And it's actually, if I remember right, it's the premise for things like the Matrix. They blotted out the sky to try and stop solar powered anything. And it led to basically Terminator. Anyway, the absurdly high levels of aluminum oxide pollution would deplete the ozone layer, the crucial barrier protecting the planet from the sun's ultraviolet radiation. But that's not how this would work. Lightbridge is ground-based. It's a ground-based system, can't provide the same instant global connectivity, but that's not quite true. The lag would be almost transparent, I would say. Plus, you don't have to go up and down from space. But I'm going to look into this some more. We'll be talking about this as it comes online. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News as well. 120 passengers endured an 8-hour flight to nowhere after high winds prevented 2 attempts at landing. A Eurowings flight from Germany couldn't land in Norway due to the high winds. The Airbus A320 diverted to Finland in the hopes that the weather would calm down, but the winds got stronger, so the 120 passengers ended up back in Dusseldorf. More than 100 passengers endured an 8-hour flight to nowhere, basically flying somewhere and turning around. The article is over at Business Insider. Pete Sim put the article together. That's basically what it was. Eurowings Flight 9250 was scheduled to be a 3.5-hour journey from Dusseldorf, Germany to Tromsø. I think that's pronounced Tromsø, Norway. But it approached the Arctic City. Airport traffic said no, winds are high above maximum limit for a safe landing, so it brushed off. It went to another location, Finland, and was brushed off there. Eurowings spokesperson said, unfortunately, the second attempt also failed due to the weather, so the pilots decided to fly back to the base in Dusseldorf. Passengers were given hotel accommodations. For those who lived nearby went home, and there were 120 passengers and 6 crew on board. So, yeah. And I suspect that weather, it happens from time to time, but as I tell people regularly, the reason why we know about this is because of technology. Otherwise, this would be a non-issue, a hyperlocal event between an airline and a couple of locations. But is it anthropomorphic weather impacts? Anthropomorphic means that it's caused by us humans. Are we causing the disruption of the natural order of things with our activities causing climate change? Guess we won't know. Other people will know, and we'll be told that from somewhere else. So Frontier is offering bags to entice angry Southwest flyers. That's the title of our next article. It's over at Non Sequitur News, but it's aggregated from Business Insider. We only get this little snippet. There's a whole lot more over at Business Insider, but we like to talk about this kind of stuff. Keeps us on our toes, keeps us aware of what's going on in science, technology, and society. That's the 3 things that I focus on. When I'm not mayor of ohmTown, I do this everywhere. So Frontier will offer free check bags this summer to capitalize on Southwest's policy change. Frontier, not on the frontier of anything. They're going boldly where Southwest has gone and then said, you know what? We can't appease our investors enough, so we're going to have to charge all of our customers. So we're not going to make our customers happy. We're going to make our investors happy, even though investors will keep buying. It doesn't matter. They'll buy. I'll buy your stock. So budget competitor Frontier Airlines announced on Tuesday that all nonstop flights departing between March 18th and August 18th will receive a free carry-on bag. So they'll give me a bag? Is that what that reads? That's how that reads. So they'll receive a free carry-on bag. Yay, I get a free bag, seat selection, and flight changes. That's awesome. I get a bag. Cool. I know what they mean. Taylor Raines put the article together over at businessinsider.com. Frontier is not the first airline to take the jab at Southwest amid the backlash, but it doesn't really matter. Frontier stacks you like cordwood. I've always heard hinky things about it. Some loyal flyers online have said that the move feels like a money grab. The only Southwest customers who will get a free check bag are those with elite status or the company's co-branded credit card. Clearly capitalizing on that discourse, Frontier suggested that Southwest customers should file for divorce and that Frontier would be a welcoming rebound. It's a lot to unpack. Let's move on, though. The next article is over, and this one is kind of near and dear to me because it's about Cellebrite dumps AI into its cell phone scraping tool so cops can hallucinate evidence. I knew this was going to come from Tech Dirt, if anybody, with a title like that. Honestly, I don't understand this compunction to break things that are already working fine. Axon makes body cameras and tasers, but it simply wasn't enough to equip cops with cameras and cop shops with expensive service contracts. No, the company insisted the way forward was dropping AI into the existing tech so robots could start doing the boring cop paperwork. Cellebrite makes a tool that crack seized phones and scrape everything out of them for perusal by investigators and prosecutors, but just being able to do that wasn't good enough. Now, as Joseph Cox reports for the always essential 404 Media, Cellebrite is adding AI to it. The title of this is Cellebrite. It's been aggregated, by the way, into Non Sequitur News, but the title of it is Cellebrite dumps AI into cell phone scraping tool so cops can hallucinate evidence. Tim Cushing in the Why Does Anyone Need This department put this article together. And that's essentially what's going on. It was Joseph Cox reports for the always essential 404 Media. Cellebrite is going to make its existing product more chaotic by adding quote unquote intelligence, more often known for what it gets wrong rather than what it gets right. Yes, AI hallucinates. That is a massive problem. Unless it is definitively locked into a silo of its experiential knowledge, right? It's learned, it's trained on the legal system. It's asked about the legal system and only that. And that's all it knows. So it can only spit out what it's been trained on. That's fine. It becomes an expert system with a little bit more intuition kind of a thing. It's much more elaborate than just parsing a bunch of stuff and then spitting out the results. What I don't want is a generalist AI that ties things together incorrectly and then cites to bogus articles or lost anything, really. I don't want hallucination. So Cellebrite has introduced AI specifically into Guardian, which is a software as a service evidence management solution, the company says. In practical terms, Guardian is a piece of software for analyzing evidence already in a police officer's possession. According to Cellebrite's February 6th announcement, the company's generative AI capabilities can summarize chat threads to help prioritize which threads may be most relevant, contextualize somebody's browsing history to show what was searched for, and build relationship insight, which could be complete fabrication and hallucination. Just because there is something in my cache doesn't mean I actually saw it. It just means that it went through my browser, and it can make a connection as erroneous as whatever, and it can do it based off of something as nebulous as too much skin tone in the color of skin within a picture or an image, and then it can spit out a result, and then somebody has to go and look at it. But that's not what really happens. Sometimes people take it for granted that the information is accurate and just leverage the AI instead. So the most immediate problem is this. Cops are already looking at this AI as a way to sniff out criminal activity they're not even investigating. The press release from Cellebrite contains a quote from a police official who heads a force overseeing a town with, squints at Wikipedia page, 1,365 residents. It is impossible to calculate the hours it would have taken to link a series of porch package thefts to an international organized crime ring, said Detective Sergeant Aaron Osman with Susquehanna Township, Pennsylvania Police Department, who recently piloted the solution. The Gen AI capabilities within Guardian helped to translate and summarize the chats between suspects, which gave us immediate insights into the large criminal network we were dealing with. One second. So it is impossible to calculate. It's also apparently impossible to report. There doesn't seem to be any information on this major break in what initially appear to be a minor case contained anywhere on the PD's press page, much less anywhere else on the internet. I'm not saying that the detective is lying, because lying is usually done to serve the person doing the lying, but rather a third party. And well, I mean, it actually is a feather in their cap if they say it, but that's not actually what may have happened, right? It says the Gen AI capabilities within Guardian helped us translate and summarize the chats between suspects, which gave us immediate insights into the large criminal network we were dealing with. But it doesn't actually say anything beyond that. It's just this quote in a vacuum. What insights? I mean, I understand that this is a marketing thing, so where is the rest of it? I'm really curious. So if anything, Sergeant Osmond is probably overstating the results of the Gen AI assisted phone search, if only because he's flattered someone from Cellebrite thought the small Pennsylvania town would be the best place to do a trial run of its new tech. So pat, here you go. Maybe you get a discount. So when it does finally bubble in the judicial service, will courts consider AI-assisted searches just another version of inevitable discovery? Or will they see quote-unquote inevitable discovery? Yeah, that's actually a term used. Or will they see this for what it is, something clearly not predicted by the creators of the Fourth Amendment, nor something that's covered by current court precedent, but, well, today's courts. Let's keep going. Next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Art historian solves riddle behind theft of famous portrait. The 70-year-old mystery surrounding the theft of an original oil sketch by renowned Flemish painter Anthony van Dyck from a stately home in Northamptonshire have been solved thanks to the research of an art historian. So Andrew Merrington from University of Exeter put the article together. It's posted over at phys.org. The portrait of Wolfgang Wilhelm of Pfalz-Neuburg, part of a collection of 37 oil sketches painted in the 17th century, was stolen in 1951 from Boughton House, the home of Duke of Buccleuch and Queensbury in Northamptonshire, in whose collection it had resided since 1682. Its disappearance was only discovered 6 years later when Mary Montague Douglas Scott, Duchess of Buccleuch and Queensbury, visited one of Harvard University's galleries and saw the sketch on display. Now, thanks to an investigation by Dr. Meredith Hale, senior lecturer in art history and visual culture, the story of how the work of art made its way across the Atlantic via some of the most prominent members of the art establishment in the UK and the United States has emerged. So through new archival research in the UK, US, and Canada, they were able to reconstruct the painting's movements over 3 generations as it passed through the hands of experts, conservators, auctioneers, dealers, and collectors from London to Toronto. Not only do these sources reveal a dynamic picture of events as they unfold, but they highlight the factors that contributed to the success of the theft. Foremost among them, the conceptual and material complexity of Van Dyck's iconography project and the audacity of a thief cloaked in the respectability of expertise. So apparently that thief was Leonard Gerald Gwyn Ramsay, the editor of the journal The Connoisseur and a fellow of the Society of Antiquaries. Ramsay visited Boughton in July 1951 with a photographer to gather material for a 7-page piece for the journal's 1952 yearbook. So it was last recorded as being in Boughton on July of 1950 and was located in close to the door of a small storage room or bathroom, making it probably the easiest one to abduct. So apparently they revealed that the former intended to sell 2 paintings because he needed the money to buy new curtains. As a result, Goldscheider supplied a certificate of authenticity which accompanied the Wolfgang Wilhelm picture when it was sold anonymously at Christie's for £189 in April of 1954. There's more to this article. It continues on to give the provenance of all of this, but I encourage you to go over and click the link. Check it out. And our final article for the March 18th, 2025 episode of Non Sequitur News is the U.S. reaches 100 million paid music streaming subscribers for the first time. Vinyl sales hit 1.4 billion, according to the RIAA 2024 year-end report. For the first time, paid streaming subscriptions hit the 100 million person account mark, while vinyl sales continued their nearly two-decade resurgence with 1.4 billion in sales, according to the RIAA. So Jem Oswald from Variety.com put the article together, and it says, despite the milestone, streaming growth continues to slow. It was up just 4 million for the year, continuing the slowing trend over the past 5 years. Streaming numbers grew by nearly 9 million between 2020 and 2021. This is like pandemic era stuff. This trend has led to music companies to seek other sources of growth, including such tactics as Universal Streaming 2.0 and a focus on superfans. Elsewhere in the report, streaming remained the biggest driver at 14.9 billion, with paid subscriptions, ad-supported services, digital and customized radio, social media platforms, digital fitness apps, and others collectively accounting for 84% of revenue for the third year in a row. However, the revenue growth year over year was just 4%. Oh, what a pisser. Those 100 million paid streamers, or streaming subscribers, accounted for nearly 2/3 of total revenue of $11.7 billion. Yeah, I suspect that rates are going to go up because you can't keep pleasing investors if the rates don't keep going up. $5 here, $5 a quarter. I'm guessing that it's going to start going up, exorbitantly. Meanwhile, vinyl's 18th straight year of growth record, nearly 3/4 of physical format revenue at 1.4 billion, or less than 10% of. It's about 10% of streaming revenue. So 20 years into the streaming era, over 100 million paid subscribers now deliver 2/3 of industry revenue, an historic milestone powering America's music economy forward. But with that, we're going to scratch the record and bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com for March 18th, 2025. Now I get to jump out of the time machine. It's been about 30 minutes, and I hope to see you. I'm going to try and make it tonight, but I have a conversation that I have to take part in, and it might run late. So we'll see if I'm able to do the 19th show, so tomorrow, because this is a time machine episode. Okay, anyway, see you all around. Bye-bye.